What is up, YouTube? It is MetroGame75 here today, and today we're playing Sakura Psyche Adventure. This time we're going to finish off the series strong. I'm going to finish off throughout this whole week. Well, pretty much that's what I'm going to do. Well, anyway, let's get back to this. Alright. Mina has already stalked off her trail, bristling with indignation. My goodness, how could I not say this? I watch her back as she retreats, tramping through the forest, loose leaves, twigs snap beneath the soles of her boots, and then the hems of her cap flutters. I cannot say anything. What is going on? We're pretty deep in the forest, and it's densely packed with trees. It doesn't take long at all for Mina to disappear from view. Her slender body is soon swallowed up by the foliage. Silence descends in the face of Mina's absence. The Scarlet frowns. Well, geez, it looks like she was serious. Are you really surprised about that, Mina? Mina is always serious. She hardly ever smiles. Good point, she's not really one to joke around. In fact, I'm not even sure if she can joke around. I think they must stamp the impulse out of you at the Orichalcum Academy. Why did that come here? Okay, but Mina's mentioned her old school before. It is very strict. It is a school for mages, so yeah, I think so. I've never been there myself. I've heard stories. It sounds like a miserable place, which might explain why Mina is such a miserable person. Scarlet grins at me, the stretches, she raises her arms above her head and looks ponderously around the forest. So what do you think, Aki? Should we go in after her? I feel like we ought to. I don't like the thought of abandoning her, but, well, she isn't the one who abandoned us. I suppose so. She didn't look like she wanted us to follow her either. If we try it, she might shout at us. Not that it'll make much of change, I suppose, given the way she treated us already. You know it. She shouted so much already, my poor ears are still ringing. They're pretty sensitive, actually. I'm surprised she didn't attract any monsters. She was so loud. She'll be alright. Do you think if she did get ambushed by monsters? Well, I wonder about that. She might have been laying into us earlier about our combat skills, but Mina's even weaker than we are. It looks like she's still somewhat screwy going on with her mana. The way she is now, she can't cast anything more advanced than a few simple elements, spells, and some weak ass heals. She should be fine, I guess. If a few slimes attack her, but hi-ya! At the moment, a loud scream appears at the quiet air. It's so panicked it makes my blood run cold. I said, hi-ya. Bro, this is a shout. What the heck? I think I recognize that voice, though I've certainly never heard it sound quite like that before. It can only belong to one person. Wasn't that Mina? You know what? I think you're right. It looks like she's gotten herself caught up in some trouble after all. And I doubt, based on that scream, she's fallen foul a couple of slimes. Do you think something serious has happened? Oh yeah, I'm prepared to be the title as Scarlet Rolling just on it. You said it yourself earlier. Mina's seriously serious, and she's proud. And she's a witch, so it stands for two reasons. They like to think that they're all powerful. They hate showing weakness to anybody, even their own party members. Something pretty bad must have happened to make me that. And like that, shoot, I hope that's one of them. All of them. It sounds like a job for Scarlet World for Justice. I can hardly sit while pretty maiden's life is in danger. Will you come with Miyaki? Well, of course, that should go without saying, but if Mina's in danger, I doubt she'll want us to see her like that. She'll be even angrier with us then. You're probably right, and you and I know she's pissy. But I'll put up with any number of insults from her, so as long as you know she's right, alright. Her safety is my top priority. We're a team, and even if she doesn't want to be a team forward, so we need to stick together. Right. Still have a few doubts about this. Scarlet sounds very convincing. I have thought her bashful personality can be a bit of a bother, but it's rather useful here. It's nice to have somebody on my side make snap decisions without hesitating. For me, I'm probably great, but not Scarlet. She never seems to doubt herself. She's so headstrong, bold, confident. It's enough to make me think she really does deserve the title of the Scarlet Whirlwind of Justice. She eats with her mouth full and she snores at night. But despite all of that, I think Scarlet's pretty cool. The two of us dash through the forest, following the source of Mina's panic screaming. We twist, we turn, we avoiding all trees which block our path until eventually, oh my, man, I don't believe this. We enter a clearing. The clearing is fairly spacious, framed on all corners by trees. The grass is clearing is tall and it's studded with flowers. There's a tree in the heart of the clearing of stars. The sunlight can filter down onto the forest floor without any obstacles. It's right here, almost blindly so. This is even worse than I thought. What's a monster like this doing out here? But that isn't the reason behind Scarlet's distress. Her attention has been captured by a monster, one far bigger than anything we've faced before. This monster is humanoid like a pixie, and it's gelatinous like a slime. It's a tall, towering thing, something which seems more like a plant than an animal. Its head is akin to a giant flower, one with noxious red petals, which can make me think of the poisonous frogs you can find in Amazon. It supported itself on a cluster of gnarled, twisted roots which seem to serve as feet. From its body, meanwhile, protruding innumerable vines, all of them thick and twisted. These vines look to pack a pretty powerful punch. I can tell as much, though I'm not in the range of them, because one of them collided with the ground. The results thud from this collision is monumental, so much so the earth beneath my legs seems to quake. When the monster retracts its vine, I can see a fairly sizable crater in the ground beneath it. If a person got caught up in that, they'd break a bone or two at the very least. Stay back, you wicked monster. Don't you think you come any closer to me. If you do, I'll cast a spell on you. I have fire magic at my disposal and I am not afraid to use it. And neither does it bode well that Mina's here, cowering before this mighty monster. This must have been the reason why she screamed. Fortunately, Mina doesn't seem to have hurt herself. Her head is on its neck where it ought to be. All of her limbs are all in place, each of them looking slightly over. Unfortunately, however, the monster has her back against the copse of trees. I don't know what the range of its vines are exactly, but I'm afraid one good strike would be able to knock Mina aside like a rag doll. It's true enough, I guess, that Mina does know magic, but there's no way she'll be able to take that thing down on her own. She doesn't have enough mana. She's a sitting duck right now despite her threats. Not that the monster can understand her. I don't think it has a firm grasp on our language. I'll just see Mina as a tasty snack. Do you think that thing would eat her? Oh yeah, that's how mandragores work. You see that flower on top of its head? It can open up, it drops its victims inside, and it dissolves them slowly. It isn't a pleasant way to go. Or so I've heard. Oh no! My face blanches. Scarlet's description is whimsical enough that my imagination is beginning to kick in overtime. I'm not even afforded a chance to feel proud that I can now identify this monster. At the moment, I couldn't care less that it's called a mandragora. All I want to do is keep it away from Mina. We can't let that thing get to Mina. We need to protect her. I agree. I do wonder why this monster isn't part of the forest, though they don't usually venture this close to human settlements. But we can worry about that later. For now, we need to stop that and keep that ugly thing off the night. Scarlet Whirlwind of Justice is on the scene, and I will not let you lay up so much as a single hand. You mean fine. That's what I said. I won't let you lay so much as single as a vine upon our dear companion. You tried your dead plan. Do you want me to cut you down? The monster doesn't reply to Scarlet's provocations. I don't think it can. I mean, the monster can't even understand this. It can't. It might have a mouth lurking beneath that large flower of it, which is used to consume its victims, but I don't think it's the mouth that was made for speech. Scarlet herself was the one who said it can't understand us, wasn't she? She probably wasn't wasting her time in that case calling out to it. But at least she distracted the monster from Mina. That has to be a good thing if nothing else. Huh? Mina, however, can you understand human speech? Well, one hopes so given those large ears of hers. I thought that her fear of mandragoras might have made her insensible to her surroundings, but apparently not. Mina whipped her head about stares at me and Scarlet. She blinks. She then cries out, voice choked in panic. What are you two doing here? What do you think we're doing here? We come to rescue you. Well, I assume as much. You really need to have bother though. As you should be able to see, I am doing just fine on my own. I had the situation quite under control. Oh yeah, are you sure about that? That's quite a bold claim to make since you're lying on the ground trembling from fright. I am not afraid. I am simply cold. Cold? Scarlet frowned. But it's really sunny in the clearing. How can you be cold? I am just alright. I'm not afraid. Not one bit. It would be unbecoming for a proud mage such myself to feel fear while facing off against an opponent such as this. Mandragoras might look threatening, but they have nothing but their sheer size to defend them. If my mana was not so depleted, I would be able to best this creature instantly. I'm sure you could, but your mana reserves are low. You can't burn this thing up despite your claims, so you might as well sit back. Just let me and Aki take care of this. Aki? Mina frowns. What in the world is she going to do to a Mandragora? She can barely defeat slimes. It's highly unlikely that she'll be able to take out a monster like this. I grip my teeth together. Mina's doubts are pale, but they aren't wholly misplaced. I can't say I blame her. I mean, I did do a rather pitiful job during my past attempts at fighting. It takes me more blows than it should to lead through time, and they aren't even strong. Will I really be able to take down a monster like this? I'm not sure, but be that as it may, I have to try. My strength, I might leave something to be desired, but I'm not going to back down now. I know that I find that Prius is important to you, Mina. I point to the tip of my sword towards the man, Sakura, so I'm not going to go down without a fight. Scarlet and I will keep the picture and then we'll lead this force together. You'll find your Prius. Everything will work out. So don't you worry about me. I might be afraid that I'm still going to give this all my all. I'm finally going to start fighting seriously. Alright, girl, I always knew you could do this. I have every faith in you. Now let us show this stupid plant who's the boss. Right. The monster lurches forward, its lines outstretched, but I'm too quick for it. I'm jumping nimbly to one side to parry. I thrust my sword out, and the blade glinting silver, and swoosh! The blade slices clean through the vine which shot out towards me. Mina said that my strength was an issue earlier, but I'm not going to let my own anxieties hold me back any longer. While I was fighting before, I was sticking too closely to the principles I learned when I was practicing kendo, namely that it was a noble sport and shouldn't bring about any pain. I think part of me wanted to preserve the elegance of my former fighting style. I swung my sword at the monsters. Yo, this is what happens when you right click it. My bad, yo. Another bloopers on the channel. I'll keep this for the video. I swung my sword at the monsters which swarmed me, but I didn't even move with any real intention. I didn't mean to actually harm my enemies. The very thought of drawing blood made me feel faint. This fight, however, is very different from the ones I've been involved in before. This monster is much bigger than any slime, and it's far more dangerous. One well-placed blow from its spines can shatter a couple of my ribs. That means I can't afford to show any mercy. I'll use the techniques I learned while studying kendo, but now I'm going to push them even further. This time, I'm fighting not to win, but to kill. Phew! Scarlet whistles in appreciation as my sword slices through the vine. She jumps back nimbly, avoiding the severe vine as it hits the ground and grins. That was pretty impressive. You're a lot inferior than I thought you were, but maybe that should go without saying. You are an ally of Scarlet after all. Some of my energy must have worn off on me. Yes, I'm sure it did. You've been the muscle during all of our fights until now, Scarlet, but this is going to end. I'm not going to let you upstage me. The monsters threatened Mina, so I had to strike down. I won't show any mercy. Now let me help you with that. Sure, feel free to tag along, just don't slow me down. Oh, scary stuff. You're starting to sound like Mina yourself. I'll have to bring my A game if I don't want to be left behind. So how about this? Charlotte looks towards the monster kicking off against the dirt, drives her halberd into the side. The monster roars and shakes its leaves, trying to shake Scarlet away. A vine shoots out towards her, one which Scarlet narrowly avoids. Jeez, that was a close call. It was a little too close for my liking. You're being reckless again. We need to fight at full force, but we should also keep a close eye on what the enemy is doing. If you dash in without a plan, then you'll get it. I can't say I care for my plans very much. I know you have mentioned it before, but maybe you have a point. I really don't want to get knocked out around by this group. So what do you suggest? We need to work together. I'll call out what it's attacking from so you can avoid them. This monster is sturdy, but it's also slow. It won't be able to withstand our attacks, not if we can come at it once. We just need to get one good blow on it, and we should be able to win it. Alright, I like those odds. Those Scarlet Woman of Justice isn't just used to taking orders from others, but if it's from a cutie like you, I think I can put up with it. Now let's start pruning some of this obedient shrubbery. Scarlet and I both work in tandem, both dodging and ducking beneath the man Dragoro's glowing vines. Whenever the monsters tried to strike Scarlet, I called her. Scarlet, to your right, you need to adjust your position. And when the monsters bears down on me, Scarlet yells to me in turn. Aki, you have to move. It's going to get you from the left. We both have to work together to take down the monster. Dealing blows against its hide whatever the opportunity presents. The monsters might be large, but that's actually to its detriment. It's precisely because the monster is so much bigger than any of the foes we face in this pack. It's that it's unable to lumber out of the way of our attacks. It's so slow it can't escape from us. I dash at the monster from the left while Scarlet takes the right. I can't focus on the two of us at once. This proves to be the monster's real undoing. Let's end this, Aki. Let's slice it up for good and proper. Right, I'm going to give this everything I have. Here it is, my final blow. Me too, how'd you like this? You've overgrown houseplant. Scarlet thrusts her halberd forward while I swing my sword in an arc. My sword's sharp silvery blade slices through the man Dragoro's vines. Scarlet halberd meanwhile pierces the monster's side. She rams it in even more deeply using the full brunt of her strength. Take this! Which finally halts the monsters in its tracks. The large monster listens backward and its vine is no longer thrashing. It tilts, then it falls. Its body hits the ground with a thud, loud enough to resound throughout the whole forest. A few birds nestle in the trees, squawking in alarm and taking off, fluttering into the blue sky. Tremors meanwhile rock the earth, tremors so violent I almost stumble. I don't, however, hit the ground. Scarlet hastens to my side, leaving her halberd stuck in the side of the unresponsive monster. She catches me before I can fall, just like a brave knight. Then she looks at me, her brown eyes with worry. Are you alright, Aki? You didn't hurt yourself, did you? No, I think I'm fine. I just lost footing. There's nothing wrong with me. Are you sure? Quite sure. I don't think I even twist my ankle. Well, good. I'm glad to know you're so tough. Though I should have anticipated as much. Any ally of the Scarlet Woman of Justice has to be strong. My influence must have been rubbed off on you. Scarlet punishes her grip on me, and when she does, my rapid heartbeat calms. Now let me retrieve my weapon. Scarlet heads over to the man Dragoro's twitching carcass. Her halberd is still embedded in its side, but not for much longer. Scarlet pulls her weapon out of the monster's hide, and she has this strange green fluid oozes from its side. Then she turns to look at Mina. Alright, how'd you like that? I guess we're not as useless as you thought, huh? What? Mina looks between me and Scarlet, her expression dazed. It wasn't so very long ago that she stormed away from us after declaring that we were the most useless party members she could conceive of. I think we might have gone up her estimation during that battle, however. Heck, I even gone up my own estimation. I had no idea before I face off against that monster I'd be able to defeat it. In fact, I certainly that I wouldn't be able to. My legs were trembling terribly during that fight, and my heart was beating so hard I felt it might burst out of my chest. I was surely that I was going to die. That man, Dragoro's, was a much more fierce opponent than any I've faced so far. It was a lot bigger than me, and it packed one hell of a punch. That fight really came down to the wire, but in the end, Scarlet and I were victorious. That's something which can't be argued against. We faced off against that monster, and we were both able to defeat it. I guess I really had to come a long way. I, I don't believe it. You really beat that thing. That's right, we really did. So what do you think? Was that cool or what? We really show that monster who's the boss around here. We kick its butts. I frown. Do you think that Drogoros have butts? I guess so. I mean, how else would they? Oh dear God. I don't know if they do. They don't. They're not exactly animals. Even if they can move around, they're more like plants, and they don't. My face flushes. Whew. I got. Isn't this topic a bit juvenile? Why are we discussing whether Mandroids can defeat or defecate or not? Now, it's hardly the time. Mina seems like she might be much of the same thing, but because she sighs. You know, I was wondering whether you two had been possessed by a couple of capable warriors during the last half hour, but I suppose not. You are acting just like you always do. Charming and elegant, you mean. Please. I doubt you even believe that you're charming and elegant, Scarlet. And if you do, then you're straight up delusional. There's nothing elegant about you whatsoever. Mina's voice trails on. She glances away, her arms folded as she blushed, spread across her cheeks. But you aren't as useless as I first thought you were, I suppose. It was rather impressive that you were both able to take down that monster. If I hadn't been for you then, Mina shudders. She doesn't say I would have been crushed into a cat figure flavored pat, but the implication is there. Mina still recovered from exhaustion from her magic after she initially summoned me to Anthem. Her magical reserves aren't what they were, which limits her abilities when it comes to using defensive magic. If I hadn't been for mine and Scarlet's timely intervention, I don't think she'd be talking to us right now. She'd be ground into the dirt. Well, anyway, I guess Mina doesn't want to contemplate the grisly fate she only just escaped because she changes the topic. She looks between us, her face still a little pink, and says, I appreciate it. It was nice of you coming after me, but I failed to understand why you did it. Huh? What's not to get? Don't you remember I was horribly rude to both of you? I was in a bad mood, so I wasn't thinking clearly. But that is still no excuse for that thing that I said. I insulted both of you. I called you incompetent. Even I told you I wanted to disband our group. I washed my hands of you, more or less. Why would you pursue me after all that? I have no idea. If I were in your position, I know that I would not have bothered. I would have abandoned me to my fate. After all the cold and policy that said, I think it would have been well deserved too. That's true, I guess. You did say some pretty nasty things to us, but you're forgetting something important, Mina. I am? Yeah. I said I was going to stick by you, and I mean it. And you might have gotten sick of me, but I've not gotten sick of you. I still like you a lot, no matter how snippy you are, of course. I wasn't going to leave you to your fate. I'd never be able to forgive myself if I let you get hurt. But my words have hurt you too. How could you simply be alright with that? Well, that's simple. Scarlet beams flashing a mouthful of her white teeth. She clasps one hand on her chest. As in a loud, proud voice rings throughout the forest, she says, I am Scarlet Woman of Justice. It's my job to protect people whether they want to be protected or not, and that goes double for you. Obviously, you're an important ally, no matter how healthy you are. We're still a team, and more than that, Scarlet takes a step forward. She widens her arms around both me and pulling us close. Then she declares, her eyes glittering just like a sky full of shooting stars. We're friends. Are we really? I'd like to be more than friends, you know? Private, I'd like to be more than friends. Both Scarlet and Mina feel very safe. I've enjoyed the sensations of their bodies pressing against mine, but I won't come out and say that. I'm afraid it might spoil the mood. Instead, I say, of course, we're all friends. What else would we be? I do care about all of you, after all. Same here. I think we've been traveling together long enough to qualify, but we've only known each other for a couple of weeks. That's very much time. Maybe not, but even a single second counts. I think it's possible to be friends with somebody in an instant if you click them, the time you've known them doesn't factor into it. And neither does the other person's feelings, I'm afraid. I beg your pardon. What are you babbling about now? I mean, silly Mina. I still consider you a friend even if you don't consider me one. It's pretty simple. I don't care if you dislike me. Heck, I don't even care if you despise me. I still think you're cute and you're talented and you're very, very determined. Sure, you might a little too serious at times, but maybe it only seems that way because I'm such a goofball. Yes, a lot of commendable qualities, so of course I want you to be my friend. I think that's very logical. You mean a lot to me. Scarlet grins at me, then turns to look at me. And so do you, Aki. Don't think I've forgotten you. You're also precious to me in your own way. I like how you act so quiet and unassuming, but once the things get serious, you spring into action. You're really cool. Cool? My face begins to burn bright red. If Scarlet thinks I'm cool, the fierce blushing I'm currently sporting should dissuade her from this silly notion. I feel anything but cool at the moment. In fact, I'm pretty warm. I'm not. Yes, you are. You're cool and Mina's cute, and I like you both. And I still do not think that I'm cute. I would rather be capable or confident. They seem like much better compliments. Well, of course, you're both of those things too, but your cuteness overwhelms everything else. You're omega adorbs. Adorbs? I think that's just another way of saying cute. It is indeed. Scarlet grins. You're the best party members I've grown just like myself, both. You're my best friends no matter what you say. Oh, right. I see. Mina sighs. Is there any way I can convince you otherwise? Nope. You're welcome to dislike me if you want. My feelings for you aren't going to change anytime soon. You're simply too adorable. Mina sighs. I take issues with a great number of things which are coming out of your mouth right now. But I do appreciate that you and Haki came to rescue me. You did not have to, but you still did. You have both proven yourself to be steadfast and stalwart companions without a shadow of a doubt. Once again, I blush, spreads across Mina's cheeks. She looks between us a little unsure of herself and mumbles. And I don't suppose I would mind being friends with you too often either. If you want to be, that is. I would not like you to force friendship like upon you. But if you're willing to forgive me for my earlier outbursts, then, well, of course I'm willing to forgive you. What else are friends for? Scarlet One of Justice doesn't hold grudges. Not when the other person has repented. I think you're too cute and to be mad at. But what about you, Aki? Scarlet looks at me curiously. Do you forgive me, Mina? Well, I exhale. It's true enough that things Mina said hurt, but I don't think she was entirely incorrect in saying them. She was only stating the facts when she said that our teamwork was sloppy. For quite some time, we were slipshod party who struggled to defeat even a weak monsters. That's changed. However, when Mina was in danger, when we faced some actual stakes, I was able to tap into my true potential. I almost feel like I should thank Mina for talking that make that shouting some sense into me. If she hadn't lectured me, I doubt I would have had the impetus to push myself that hard. It's all because of Mina in a way that I was able to best that monster. Though, granted, I wouldn't have had to best that monster if it wasn't for Mina. She put both me and Scarlet in a tricky position. There's no doubt about that. But, of course, I forgive you. I know that you are anxious because you want to find your priest. That's why you've been in such a poor mood. You're worried about that, which is understandable. But try not to fret. I know how serious you are about her, and I want to help you. I'm going to fight by your side, Mina. I'm going to stay with you. I'll help reunite you with your priest if it's the last thing I do. Same here, I can't rest at night knowing that some sweet, genteelish priest has been kidnapped by some nerdy do-wells. When I do get my hands on the bride games who kidnap her, I'll run them through, and I'll do it for your sake, Mina. I won't let anybody upset you ever again. Me neither. I'm going to do my very best. What? But you shouldn't feel obliged. I'm the one who dragged you into this mess. If you resented me, I'd understand. Maybe I did resent you a bit in the beginning, but I didn't want to be an adventurer at first, and fighting monsters was very strange to me, and it was scary. But it was less scary when I'm with You, Mina. I like you a lot even if you lecture me, and I want to be your friend. That's right, we're all friends. If we work together, there's nothing we can do. We'll all be unstoppable. Scarlet Woman of Justice is going to do her very best. You too. Mina looks between us. She blinks her eyes sparkling. Her irises look suspiciously moist. And she isn't going to cry, is she? I wondered this for a few moments when, contrary to my expectations, Mina snorts. She giggles and her shoulders rising and falling. She says, "You both so silly. But I'm glad I met the both of you. I'm glad that you're venturing with me. I think you're the best friends I could have hoped for. With our greatest threat thus far defeated, and our bodies stronger than they've ever been, Scarlet suggests that we head over to the tavern to toast our success. We were amazingly awesome back there, if I do say so myself, so we need to drink it. There's no better way to celebrate the job well done. I think we've earned it, and you're looking pretty stiff, Mina. A few swigs of ale ought to help you forget that the fact that you nearly died. Yes, thank you. You don't need to remind me. This is exactly which we faces our visits at the local tavern. Mina and I only sip at a flagon of ale. Neither of us are big drinkers, while Scarlet chugs the stuff back with loud abandon. I'm a bit worried she'll drink too much in her merriment and she'll knock herself into an unresponsive stupor. But that doesn't seem to be the problem. She's quite sturdy, though maybe I should have been able to guess as much. Scarlet is, she self-proclaimed, Scarlet Woman of Justice after all. What sort of Scarlet Woman can't handle a bit of alcohol? Once Scarlet is satisfied that we've celebrated enough, we pay our tab. It's quite pricey, but we suppose we can worry about that tomorrow, then head back to the inn. By this time, the sun has set, and the sky is full of stars. Scarlet grins as she steps inside our room, then declares, I never thought I'd be so glad to see this old place again. There's nothing better than coming home after withstanding a fierce monster attack. Apart from drinking after withstanding a fierce monster attack? Apart from that, yeah. You know me too well, Aki. Well, I would hope that, that I know you. We are friends after all. I blush a little when the word friends, and I don't think it's down to the alcohol's influence. I can't help myself. It's been a long day since I had any friends left. I think the last time I had any friends who weren't online, I was back in high school during my Kendo Club days. That sure takes me back. That's right. I don't have much time to get all nostalgic because of Demon Scarlet slapping me on the shoulders. We are friends. We're the best friends that there ever has there. And together we make it an unstoppable team. I'm so proud of us. We're incredible. I think the pair of you did a passionate good job when you fought that Sakura, but it was just a single success. Do not let it go over to your head. Not like that alcohol was so obvious in the past. We'll still need to keep our wits about us. True, I suppose, but we can worry about the future later whenever it might happen. Right now, I still want to have a lot more fun. What sort of fun? I eyed Scarlet with some trepidation. She doesn't want to play a game, does she? She doesn't want to look like a shogi type, though, or a go type. What about jungle? Do they have that in the anthem? I've always been awful at Mahjong. It looks like Mina has some concerns of her own about Scarlet's proposed fun because she frowns. What do you mean by that exactly? And I do even want to know. I was wondering about that too. Why is Scarlet grinning like that? I know Scarlet, which like the thing I do. We have been spending quite a bit of time together recently, and it seems like highly she's up to no good. I thought we already celebrated. Isn't that why we went to drinking? That's right. We've done the whole hooray us thing. In fact, I think I might have overdone it a bit. Mina pulls a face. She does look pretty red. Mina looks likes to posit herself as being the most sensible, mature member of our party, but she can be pretty impulsive at herself at times. Her earlier attempts at running away being a primary example. I think she might have drunken a bit more than she should have. Heck, I'm starting to think that maybe I drink a bit more than I should have too. The beer here is a lot stronger than the stuff I'm used to drinking back home. I got so heated I even had to take my fluffy mantle off. Right now, there's nothing I want to do more than lie in bed and get some sleep. That sounds like a perfect way to cap off the night for me. I'm inclined to agree with Mina there, but huh? Carla doesn't look too pleased about this suggestion. She's pouting. What do you mean perfect? There's nothing perfect about going to sleep. It's boring. And it isn't even that late. It's not even midnight yet. It'll be midnight soon enough. Mina replied sulkily, her arms folded. And in case you weren't not aware, I need to rest more than you do. If I do not sleep enough, I will not be able to replace my nap, and I'll be able to be functionally useless in a combat. Well, yeah, that's the thing that can happen. Scarlet smiles. Then she lopes her way over to Mina, who's sitting on the edge of her bed, and slings her arms around her shoulder. But ain't that the way you usually are, Mina? What? Mina looks at Scarlet mistrustfully, her lips purse. What are you trying to imply exactly? You know what I mean. You've always been useless, or near to it, during our fight, I mean. Remember how I met you? You were getting your ass handed to you by that thief, and she was only about, well, what about this high? I don't want to take cheap shots at your supposed powers, but that didn't make for the best of impressions. Why, you? Mina scowls. And as Radders would think she might shoot Scarlet off her. You shouldn't judge me based on a single fight. That there were continuation circumstances at play. I don't know what extenuation means, but I'll take your word for it. I figured you were going through a rough patch back then. But what about your earlier fight when when you were ambushed by that magic glory? If it wasn't for me and Aki, we wouldn't have been turned into a cat girl paste. I'm a cat woman, not a cat girl. Mina scowls. And that magic glory took me by surprise. And if I had enough time to counterattack, I would have signed into a crisp with or without your help. I'm more than capable of looking after myself. Thank you. That's what you say. But you've been in a pretty nasty situation if me and Aki hadn't showed up, wouldn't you? Well, Mina looks away, her face flushing. Scarlet must know in this instant she's managed to break through Mina's defense because her smile widens. Yes, you would have been in a tough spot. You know, you would. It's only because we worked together that we were able to defeat that thing, which is why I wanted to celebrate together too. There will be none of this going to bed early nonsense. If the night's still young and there's still a lot I want to do with you and you too, Aki, there's a whole bunch of stuff I want us to do together. What sort of stuff? Well, let me see. Charlotte ponders her index finger against her lower lip. There's a bunch of I'd like to talk to you about, and all sorts of questions I want to ask you. I like to see if we could even be closer than we are since we're going to be a team. But I'm in fact ask questions later, kind of go. Justice never sleeps after all, so I've always got to be vigilant. But if we're going to get even closer, then I think we should try and do it physically, just like this. Charlotte shifts close to Mina, who's still sitting on the bed, and loops around her arms, shouldering once again. She leans in, smiling, and before Mina protests, "Hey, what are you?" Scarlet presses a kiss against her cheek. She beams. Then she says in a sing-song voice, "See, this should prove that we're bestest of best friends without a shadow of a doubt. We've already entrusted our bags to one another during the last fight, so I don't think there's any shame in trusting our bodies to one another either. So I want to get to know the both of you as well as I can outside and in. And if we do that, who knows what might happen. Maybe we really will be unstoppable then." Oh dear. And so in the end, meanwhile in the citadel many miles away. Whoa! Who's this? It's such a nice night. The moon is so bright, so round and full. It's very pretty. Oh, a nice clear night like this, when I can see all the stars, it makes me feel rather sleepy. So that's Luna. Now I wonder, what is Mina doing right now? Is she looking up at the night sky just like I am? Is she thinking about me like I am thinking of her? Is she planning to come and find me? Staying here hasn't been so bad, but Mina has always been a crybaby. She tries to act strong, but she's really very sensitive deep down. Rejections hurt her, and so does failure. She must have been so upset that I was kidnapped. I hope she hasn't been blaming herself too much. It isn't her fault. There was nothing she could have done. I do not wish too much pressure on her shoulders. However, not when Mina already pressured herself to do. I'll be fine even if she does not find me. But what about Mina? I really do worry about her. My precious, adorable disciple. She's sleeping. That's the end. Story and writing waffle. Oh, that's the end of the series? We haven't even found her yet, though. Well, this is the first one, though. This is literally a part 1, so I'm guessing a part 2 is going to be coming out soon that they'll be making. Which I don't mind. Thank you for playing. No problem. Wing Cloud Games. That is pretty much the end right here. This is only the first one right now. So we'll be seeing the Sakura Psyche Adventure 2 coming very soon. But anyways, that is the end of this series today, everyone. So thank you guys for watching this series. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.